What is up and how's it going? Welcome back to another edition of the Noble Studies Sort of Sports Talk. Here's podcast where we talk about sports and some other random stuff that we'll eventually get on a tangent about. But I'm your host, Tyler, here with Joey and Shane. Joey, how you doing today, buddy?
Man, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but I'm finally glad to be back recording. Doing good so far. New job, keeping me on my toes. Also got a note and give a quick shout out to a college that I went to for a semester that I wish I would have stayed at, Concordia, Texas. Their soccer team, which I played on, so there's a reason that I'm saying it, is in the conference championship. Their women's side. The men's side got eliminated in the first round that they played in extra time. So got to give my Tornadoes a shout out.
All right there. You know, not even 2 minutes into the episode, and we're already talking about soccer. There we go. I know Shane loves it. Shane, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good.
At least
Glad
it's
to be.
something At least it's something I did. You know, I played on the team. Sorry.
We done talking about soccer, or
Yes, yeah, that's it.
okay, cool. So great to be back. Been busy with work, interrupting our podcast time, and apparently Joey's illustrious soccer career is coming back full circle.
You know, it's all cyclical, I guess. But yes, it is great to be back. Great to be back recording. You know, in the immortal words of Bon Jovi, we're halfway through the season, guys. We are halfway through the NFL season. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be recapping it a little bit, kind of like a chill recap episode. We're not going to dive too much into the Saints as we normally do, but we're going to talk about just the NFL as a whole. Give our midseason awards, our biggest surprises, disappointments, and a little bit more. Guys, y'all ready for that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I will start this off then, and I'll go. We'll start with some positive energy. You know, we're just getting back. Let's start with the positives. Let's go with my biggest surprise is the Seattle Seahawks. I will definitely say, you know, I think a lot of people thought they're going to be good, but man, they are just complete. They look like a complete unit. I mean, you look at that game against the Commanders, where Sam Darnold, I don't think threw an incompletion until the third quarter, 4 touchdowns. JSN is. We'll talk about more on him later, but I mean the entire team, even the defense looks great. They're right in the thick of it in the NFC West. They're definitely my biggest surprise in the fact that I know we're going to talk about some other teams that are probably bigger surprises in the fact, but I want to leave that for everybody else. But man, they are just really trucking and rolling, and I think have a good chance of making some real noise in the NFC in the playoffs. Shane, what do you think about the Seahawks this year?
Definitely surprising. I'm with you, JSN. You know, really stepped into that alpha role. The wide receiver one looks great. They're utilizing both running backs. I mean, not what I expected to see out of the. You know, I didn't see them leading the NFC West.
No, and not having having one of the highest points scored for him as well. That offense is just humming under Clint Kubiak. And then let's not bear the headline. I mean, they added a true speed threat to complement JSN with Rashid Shaheed at the deadline, trading the 4th and the 5th to the Saints, who, I mean, he has familiarity with the system with playing in it last year. He's going to take the top off the defense. So you can't just focus on JSN now. You have a legit deep threat in Rashid Shaheed. And I know like Horton had a great game. He's flashed a little bit, but I mean, I think Shaheed's a little bit on a different level. And he's already talking about signing a long-term deal there that he wants to stay. So, look, they're going to make some noise. I definitely think they're going to make some noise this year in the NFC. Joey, what do you think about the Seahawks this year?
I mean, it's like you said, Clint Kubiak's offense going to work in another place that it needed it. You know, when he was here, he was the highlight. I would say he was the highlight of the Saints when Dennis Allen was the head coach. Specifically his play calling, not necessarily the play on the field, but you know, there were talks of like maybe we could get him to become the head coach. He was still a little too young and inexperienced to be that head coach, but I think that's what's basically got him to be, you know, get the Seahawks where they're at. It's the Kubiak show up in Seattle. Sam Darnold's playing still good, and now, like you said, with that Shaheed ad, he should do nothing but improve.
Let's just put into context, like just so for people that aren't familiar with how well Sam Darnold's playing right now. I mean, if you didn't watch the Sunday night game, I don't know if you need any more proof than that. But he is currently in 2,084 yards, 9th in touchdowns with 16. He only has 5 picks, but he is 2nd in total QBR with 77.7. He is playing out of his mind. He's playing the best ball of his career. I mean, obviously. And, like I said, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. I said it about the Eagles last year. Just top to bottom, they look like one of the more talented rosters in the NFL.
He's playing like they paid him 3 years, $100.5 million.
But the crazy thing is, though, if you bring up the contract, it really isn't that much of it actually is like a bargain. It's kind of like the Baker deal when he signed with the Baker extension when he signed with Tampa. So it's actually team friendly if you look at the context of the rest of the league QB contract wise. So I mean, it's a lot of positives in Seattle. We'll just go with that, and let's see how they close out the rest of the season. But I think they're going to finish strong. Shane, why don't you give me your biggest surprise, or one of your biggest surprises?
So I think we got to talk about the Colts here.
Yes.
All you have to do is leave the New York Giants, and you become a bona fide MVP candidate. Apparently, Daniel Jones is out there slinging it. I think the front office recognizes what they have. It maybe lightning in a bottle this year. I don't know if it's going to sustain the next year, but they went out and got Sauce Gardner. I think they overpaid a little bit, but they're making moves to try to go all in. Tyler Warren looks great. Michael Pittman looks great. Their defense is looking better and better. I mean, they just took a little hit with DeForest Buckner, but I mean, if you're telling me that the Colts are the AFC front runner mid-season before the season, I would tell you were crazy. So to me, that's the biggest surprise.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. It's really amazing what happens when you have a halfway competent quarterback. The team just looks completely different than it did last year. Like, there's more energy, more spark. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, we'll talk about him a little bit later, is playing at an MVP pace in my opinion, or at least should be talked about in that regard. But it's really incredible. And I don't know if you saw the quote on the Sauce Gardner trade from one of the Colts owners. I think it was, and please, I apologize if it's not the right one, but I believe it was Carly that said, do you want to fix or was it, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, do you want to just put a Band-Aid on it, or do you want to solve it permanently? And that's what led to them making the big move for Sauce Gardner. Selfishly, I will say, just talking about that trade, don't like the fact that I traded away A.D. Mitchell a week before that trade happened, and now he's actually going to get opportunity now. That's just me being selfish, but, he'll probably drop the ball before he gets to the goal line anyway. But I digress. I like the trade in the fact that I can see from both sides. Some people are going to say, oh, he paid too much, and, Sauce's, I guess, play on the field hasn't matched that kind of return. But look, he's young. He's shown that he can do it. And I believe that Lou Anarumo, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, is going to find the best way to use him, and probably let him be the press corner that he likes to play as, right? Like, be that physical type of corner. Joey, what you think about the Colts this year?
I tell you what, if all you needed to do is get your owner to be on the sideline every week to win, I'm surprised no other team has done it. It's actually really cool to see that, she's on the field, she's being hands-on, proving that she cares, that she's not just like, oh, I got daddy's inheritance. I think that the culture in Indianapolis seems to have shifted a little bit to more of a, hey, we're going to take care of business, which I like to see I'd like to see from our team, but, I feel like I'm asking for too much when I do that. But, and it was Carly that said that quote about Sauce Gardner, that do you want to Band-Aid it or fix it for the long term?
That's what it was. Okay. Damn, I wasn't that far off. I thought I was completely off. I started going down that road of the quote, and I was like, oh, I saw that. I don't actually have it.
I saw the doubt in your eyes. I'm like, let me hurry up and look that up.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, they are a huge surprise. I did not, Daniel Jones playing the way he is, it had me pick him up in other fantasy leagues and starting him consistently, which is wild to think of. Like last year, if I had Daniel Jones on my team, it's like, hopefully, because this is the 31st ranked defense, he'll at least do decent.
Right.
I think legit Super Bowl contender. People say, oh, look at Daniel Jones last week when he was given the old New York Giants face. Look at, these quarterbacks who do really bad, they go somewhere, and then it's like, oh, look, he's really good. They're going to have those games where it's like, oh, look, it's the such and such of old. But, gaining Sauce Gardner, in that trade and the way they've been playing, they're a team to be reckoned with in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about the previous game. Yeah, they lost against the Steelers. That was a that was a weird game if you're going by trends and trends throughout the beginning of the season. Should have been more of a shootout. It favored more Indy, but hey, you have those weeks sometimes. Pittsburgh woke up. I'm not worried about them moving forward. It's just one game. I would like to see how they respond. Shane, any pause or concern about the performance against Pittsburgh?
No. I mean, I've always said this. I think Mike Tomlin might be one of the best coaches of all time, and I think that he gets his team ready for whoever they're playing. I think they might have identified some things. Not every team is going to have a great game every season, right? You have some, like, I mean, look at the Denver Broncos. They're 7-2. That game was just a snooze fest on Thursday. It did not look indicative of how the Broncos played. So I think the Broncos, just like the Colts, I think they're just going to regroup, maybe short week, stuff like that. But I'm more curious to hear y'all's thoughts on, because Brian Daboll got a lot of credit for Josh Allen. Now the way Daniel Jones is playing with the Colts, I've always said coaching and situation matters. I mean, is it indicative of Brian Daboll is not that good of a coach?
I mean, and I'll counterpoint that, and then just because people will point this out, is that what about Jackson Dart though, who's been impressive?
Well, yeah, I mean he's been impressive, but he's had, like, to me, that's more raw talent. He's running for his life. He's making plays on a run, which really you can't coach. You just that's the player, in my opinion.
No, I get that.
Because I think I was going to mention him when we talk about Rookie of the Year. If those guys are winning some of those games, Jackson Dart's running away with Rookie of the Year. But unfortunately, I don't think those games have been that greatly coached. I'm a little bit more in tune with the Giants just because of my brother and my family.
Yeah.
But so I'm maybe a little bit more critical. But I just was curious because I know Daboll got that job based off of Josh Allen and being a quarterback guy. Daniel Jones looked great the first year, and then he looked terrible enough for them to get rid of him. So just was curious.
I think Daboll is, I don't want to say middle of the road. I think he's a good offensive coach. As a whole CEO, maybe not his forte, but yeah. There was definitely a growth between, like, the coordinator before him and then him with Josh Allen in that maturation process. So I will give him that. But no, I don't disagree with you. It was bad with Daniel Jones those final years in New York. And then Jackson Dart, yeah. I do want, speaking of the Giants, though, and being that you're in tune with them, have you seen the report that maybe Daboll's on the line, but they're going to keep the GM Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I don't know if that's, and I mean, I hate to say this, it reminds me almost of like the Saints situation where they just refuse to get rid of Loomis. Like, Mara is sick, unfortunately,
Yeah,
and battling cancer, and that if they're going to make a head coaching change, at least they keep the stability of having the GM, and they're not.
Yeah, and they're not trying to replace the whole organization, right? Like, I think it's the point you're trying to get to on that one.
Okay.
Adjust both positions. I don't know.
For those audio listeners, we're having technical difficulties.
We're having some technical difficulties with Shane at the moment. But I think just to kind of finish Shane's point there for a second, I'm going to just, like I said, wrap it up a little bit. It's just not having to do a whole organizational shift, I feel like, is what he was eventually going to get to with the point on that one. And I agree with him. It's hard to do both at the same time, especially when you have an owner that may not be able to give 100% of their time or effort into it. But let's believe we have Shane back. I'll add him back here. Hey, Shane.
Oh, sorry about that.
You hear us now, buddy? No, you're all good. Yep. You're all good. No, I just kind of wrapped it up there for you.
Your hamster kind of tripped up a little bit, and your internet stopped working for a second.
Yeah.
So let's move along.
I will say, though,
go ahead. Yeah.
Going on the Daboll rumor, the rumor was that he was going to get fired after the Denver collapse.
Gotcha.
On the plane, it got nixed. So You know, he was almost a former Giants head coach. Real quick,
The thing is, though, when you talk about firing head coach, I will never understand drafting a first round quarterback with a coach that's on the hot seat. You always just delay the, how do you put this? Delay the development.
inevitable.
No, well, you're delaying the development of the quarterback because unless he comes in, hits lightning in a bottle, and he's able to save the guy's job, he's gonna have to learn new offense, new process, it's just delay, like you said, delaying the inevitable.
Well, I think the good thing for him is that he'll have jobs, like for Jackson Dart, he'll have job security because it'll be like, you know, hey, you were drafted early, we're going to give you a shot. It's not going to be like some of these coaches where it's like, oh, they brought you in. Oh no, they brought you in. We're going to go somewhere
exactly.
else.
No, 100%, and that definitely does play into it.
Like who was it? Was Sean Payton the head coach in Denver when they got Russell Wilson?
Sean Payton was not there when he got Russell Wilson. It was Nathaniel Hackett.
That's right.
Was the head coach. He was a
That's
one-time
right.
first-year head coach. I mean, he also got fired because he couldn't get the play call in at all.
Yeah.
So they would literally count. The fans would start counting the play clock down so they can just finish to get the playoffs. So let's move on while we still got everybody here. Let's do your biggest surprise, Joey. I think you're the last one here for us.
How is nobody talking about the fact that the Carolina Panthers could win a division? I did not see that coming. Even though I was an idiot, I looked at, you know how like if certain things happen this year and it also happened that year and it happened to coincide with all of that stuff. Yeah, all of that stuff. It coincided with me trying to bet the Panthers to win the NFC. I cashed out on that bet. I was like, I'm going to just get rid of it. Like, whatever. Then they start winning. So you're welcome, Carolina. You go on a 4-game win streak. It's, you know, Bryce Young's figuring it out. They've also got that free agent signing that they just had, Rico Dowdle, who has, out of the last 3 games, 2 of them have been over 180 yards rushing. They have 2 division games coming up. So granted, it's against the Saints and the Falcons, which are, you know, fighting for last place in the NFC South. It'll be, if they can win those games, because division rivalry games are always close. If they can win those 2 games, maybe cement themselves as a team that could win the NFC South and maybe make what they hope is a playoff run. They beat Green Bay at Lambeau. Hard to do with this team. So I'd be interested. What do y'all think of the Panthers and their surprise run?
Shane, I'll let you take this one first, bud.
I don't think it's much of a surprise when you can win the NFC South because it's probably the worst division in football. So while I think if Carolina looked like they did at the end of the year and they were playing that way this year continuously, I think it would be I'm a little more surprised that they're inconsistent with that. You know, like they looked so great at the end of the year. I kind of thought they were going to take that next step. It's not surprising that they're in the hunt for the NFC South, but if they're in any other division, I don't know if they're even making the playoffs, you know. So that's, to me, it's a little tough because the NFC South is just not good right now, unfortunately, you know, for the fans. Tyler, what do you think?
So I definitely want to tie in. I think we should tie in Dowdle, and I think as Shane put in the doc, that's one of the biggest surprises. We'll tie that in with the Panthers here because it goes hand in hand. He's been on an absolute tear with like 3 less games than some of these guys. I think he's like 3rd in the league with 3 less games rushing wise. So, I mean, I fully intend him to absolutely put how do I put this? A waxing on the Saints, B to A. If you know it, if you know, you know, it's going to happen tomorrow. Don't doubt it. They're just running with authority. The offensive line has looked like has gone from a complete like liability to a strength now. They're actually playing some decent defense. The biggest liability they have is Bryce Young. It's like, can Bryce do enough that we can win? Like, can he just be enough of a threat throwing the ball to where we can have these running lanes and just pound the rock? But yeah, I mean, look, they're definitely interesting. I agree. They're surprised. They also are taking advantage of some weaker teams on their schedule. But they're just also weird. Like, you beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-0, and then you go up and just get housed 42-12, and then or 42-14, and then go beat the Packers. So I mean, who are also one of the weirdest teams in the NFL right now. But to me, it's an odd team. It's a surprising team, but they're definitely one of the more intriguing ones down the stretch, in my opinion. Are there any other surprises y'all want to touch on a little bit? I know we talked a little bit about JSN, but I want to kind of save him because I know we're going to have some more talk on awards wise with him. We talked about Dowdle. Shane, I see you have one more name on there. Do you want to jump in and throw that one out there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone thought Javonte Williams was going to bounce back the way he did. I would say he could be potential for comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
You know, he's had some gruesome injuries. He's fought his way back. He kind of was written off. You know, I remember, I think when we started our original Dynasty League, Tyler, he was like a second round pick. Like the hype around him was so big. And I mean, he has really established himself as, at least from a fantasy standpoint, is just a great play each week, just like Dowdle. You know, I'm on a team where I have both of these guys. I'm having to sit, you know, like I set Genty for Dowdle this week, you know, in one league, and I'm playing Williams and Dowdle in both league, you know, in another league. So it's a happy surprise for me, but I don't think anyone saw it coming.
No, after that injury, those 2 years in Denver after that injury were just, I don't want to use the word plotter, especially after coming back from an injury, but they looked like he was zapped of his explosiveness. There wasn't a lot of juice there. And then I guess it must be the barbecue in Texas. I don't know. Or maybe being 3 years.
It is delicious.
It is delicious. But being 3 years removed from the injury, yeah, he looks explosive. He looks like the back coming out of college. So yeah, hats off to him, man. Just definitely a decent surprise for sure. But Joey, anybody else you want to touch on for surprises?
I'm gonna save all my the surprises are more disappointments, so I'm gonna save it for our next segment.
Well,
that's fair.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. So, as we do it, let's start. Let's name some disappointments, or I think we're all along the lines of teams or players that just have not met the expectation of going in. And I left a few pretty obvious ones on the table because I knew y'all would like to talk about him a little bit more. I went with Geno Smith, and granted, he's not a top 10 quarterback, probably top 15-ish before going into the season, maybe top 20 if we want to be low ball, but he was competent. But going from Seattle to Las Vegas, he has looked horrendous the first half of the season. I mean, legitimately holding back the offense, it feels like. Now, you could say it's not the lack of weapons. Brock Bowers being hurt, the line, whatever. But, I mean, there are just some boneheaded interceptions that are coming out of it, and he's turning it over like he's Tua. So I feel like there was a little bit of hope of him coming in, just being able to right the ship and not be a liability and actually give some stability to the position. But, I mean, you have to look at the Raiders as a team that's buying for a quarterback again in next offseason. So that's my biggest disappointment is Geno Smith so far this year. What y'all's thoughts on that one, Shane?
Would you? I have a question. I just have a question. I don't have anything. Would you say it's more a problem with Geno Smith or more a problem with offense?
Well, and that's the and I agree. Those are fair questions to ask. I'm just going off the expectation going into the year of him just being a steadying force in the offense. Does that make sense? Like, because the Raiders haven't had a stabilizing quarterback since. Derek Carr, cool, yeah, but if we're being honest, he was a franchise quarterback for him. But after he left, there was rocky 2 years. So I'm assuming. So the thought was that they were going to actually have an answer there, at least until they were able to draft one and develop one. But it just hasn't seemed to be. He's just been a liability so far. But I guess I'll ask that y'all's question: is it more him or is it the offense?
Shane, you go first.
I don't know. I feel like he had weapons going into this year. You had Myers, Trey Tucker's a speedster. You have Genty, you have Bowers, you have Mayer. I felt like he had tools to succeed there. He plays in a tough division. Good defenses, but definitely nowhere near where I thought he would be. I had higher hopes, but he's not performing to any level that I thought he would.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Joey, what about you, buddy? Offense or Gino himself?
I mean, Gino's not giving the offense any help if the struggle is with the offense itself. He is on pace to throw a career high 23 interceptions this season. I think it's, he showed that promise in Seattle where he had that kind of, rejuvenation of his career. When they signed him, you didn't truly know how long he was going to be around in Vegas. So, I think it's just prepare themselves for a quarterback for them, hopefully coming out of the draft and panning out. Who knows?
That's fair.
I guess Tyler, these teams are all vying for quarterbacks, right? They've got the Jets, they've got the Raiders, they've already mentioned the Saints again. All these teams, I mean, is there quarterbacks coming out that are going to be able to, or are they going to be jockeying for draft position at the end of the year? Because I mean, that's the Jets and the Saints are kind of front running the top of the draft. At some point, do you pull Geno Smith and just try to, tank almost?
So in this year's class, there's not a Andrew Luck, like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels type prospect coming out, right? There's three guys at least that so far have really kind of separated themselves a little bit. I don't think Sellers is coming out this year, or at least I don't know if he should come out this year because he needs a lot of development. But if there's a guy that I feel like if you had the luxury of taking and sitting, that's the one, is Lenore Sellers out of South Carolina. But I feel like the top three right now, and I'm not counting Arch. I feel like Arch is going to go back again, unless he just absolutely tears it up down the stretch. But you got Mendoza from Indiana, you got Moore from Oregon, and then I'm blanking on the last one.
Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson from Alabama. Yeah, are the big three right now. And there's no guarantee Simpson comes out either. But he's looked fantastic at Bama. So he's got a game against LSU tonight at time of recording. So we'll see if we can put on another performance. And,
if we can watch the freaking game.
Hold on, we're getting to it. We're getting into it.
I will say, what a flip for college football, where they thought the top three quarterbacks were Arch, Garrett Nussmeier, and Klubnik, and now they're not even. It's three completely different guys.
Well, Klubnik was, in my eyes, was always one of those guys that I had to see a jump from this year. You know what I mean? Like, he was always athletic. He made big time plays and big time throws, like in clutch situations. But he also made some boneheaded stuff and what didn't always show natural passing ability. And he's taken a step back this year. I mean, I think you've seen that. Nussmeier, I'm still not convinced he's not hurt. There's no way you go from.
He can't be as healthy as
he can't.
The old regime, I can say now, was leading to believe.
Well, let me just tell you about Arch Manning. In my opinion, he didn't play anyone in high school. He's got the last name, and they chose to start Quinn Ewers, who was a 7th round draft pick, over him. He's just not that good. I think it's his last name. I mean, I might get killed for that because there were royalty in Louisiana, but he's just not that good.
There were scouts who came out, didn't put out names because, you stay as anonymous as possible. They came out and said that if his name was like John Smith or something random, he would have been like a 2-star recruit.
Yeah, it's just
coming out of Newman High School. Like he wasn't lighting it up. They showed, I forget what school it was that played against him. ESPN showed a highlight of him in high school, and it's like my fat ass could have caught him as slow as he was running.
But
he had no competition in high school. Yeah, he had no competition in high school. He lost to St. Charles Catholic, I think, every year he played them. So, and that's not a knock on St. Charles Catholic. I'm just saying, like, you think of a school that is not exactly like the.
You think number one recruit in the nation could handle that?
Yeah, they're not Edna Carr. They're not, all these schools that.
They're not modern day. They're not Bishop Gorman. I gotcha. So we'll get off of my disappointment now, and we'll go to some more misery. Shane, why don't you give us your disappointment this year? This one hits hard.
I mean, dude, this is to me preseason. Liam Cohen going to the Jags. I thought they were going to look like the Bucks looked. You know, he had good running backs. He's got great receivers. I thought he's going to implement a system. BTJ could be potentially doing what Jamar Chase did last year. And I don't even think they like Brian Thomas Jr. down in Jacksonville anymore for some reason. I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville, soon to be the Orlando Jaguars next year.
I saw that.
But not only am I disappointed just in the total, you know, I thought they had a division at the time preseason that they could compete in, not realizing the Colts were going to go God mode, but I thought Brian Thomas Jr. was going to take the next step, and it's I don't. There just seems to be a huge disconnect down there. I don't know what y'all think, but I'd love y'all's thoughts.
Here's my thought. I feel like we're going to get a report after the season's over with that Brian Thomas Jr. is having surgery on some injury that we did not know about, or like to clean something up. Because, all right, and I don't want to question the man's toughness. I really don't. But there is a clear lack of efficiency when he runs routes across the middle. The drop rate's higher, which is not the norm. And the efficiency numbers drop. The catch rate drops. The efficiency numbers just drop when you go from on the boundary sideline to over the middle. And honestly, this just may be who he is. That was the knock on him coming out of LSU, was just like, hey, he's a deep ball go guy and try to get the ball in his hands, which they did last year. And he force fed him, and with Mac Jones, but maybe Trevor Lawrence isn't the answer too. So there's a lot of factors here. I don't think he's not talented. I definitely think you don't just do that in your rookie year in the NFL without talent. So it may be he just doesn't get along with the new coaching staff, or what. I don't know, but there's definitely a disconnect there and a regression for sure. Joey, what's your thoughts, bud?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has shown what he can do in the NFL, and then last year the wheels fell off. You know, you think, oh, new coach comes in, he's going to light it up, and then what was it, week one, he's brushing him off. You know, that's not a good look just from the jump. Now, we're saying all this stuff about Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. and their head coach. They're 2 games out of first place in the division. So, and it's against the Indianapolis Colts. They're in second place. So, I think it's, if they can figure out, you know, whatever that lack of play is between Trevor Lawrence and BTJ. I mean, it's like they've never played football with each other ever at times. You know, maybe it's, and this is just me being really stupid, so take this with a grain of salt. Maybe it's the fact that Trevor Lawrence just looks at Brian Thomas Jr. and goes, hey, your school beat my school in the national championship. Fuck you. Like, that's legit sometimes how it looks when they play. They have no chemistry, no. It's like it's just.
That would be the pettiest reason I've ever thought of, and I would cut fucking Sunshine.
I mean, it's not true, but like the fact that it's, you know, there are times where it's, you know, Brian Thomas Jr. is, you know, he can score a touchdown here. Nope, I'm going to dump it off. Like, it's frustrating to watch the Jags, as much talent as that team has.
Yeah, I would say my bigger concern is that they're potentially trying to trade Brian Thomas Jr., where they haven't tried to like move on from Trevor Lawrence. You know, maybe they can't because of the contract, but you're
That's
immediately
a big contract.
Year 2, you're trying to, and I mean, being second in the AFC South is like being second in the NFC South. It's the tallest midget. So,
oh, well, that out.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But even still, like, it says something that
it's a shit division. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
No, I know.
You have you know, you're considered one of the bigger disappointments in the NFL. You have a winning record. You're 5-3.
Hold on.
That's just
Were we saying were we saying the Jags or were we saying BTJ? I think that's the
I'm
better
saying the Jags offense in general and
Okay.
and BTJ for sure is my big disappointment. But they also play in a division with a CJ Stroudless Texans and the Tennessee Titans, who you could easily, that's 4 wins right there. Look at their schedule. I mean, if you telling me you're looking at the Jaguars and thinking that they're going to compete in the playoffs, you're seeing something I ain't seeing.
No,
Oh,
I'm just
compete?
saying
No.
that.
They
I'm
may
just saying
sneak in
that,
though.
yeah, they're going to sneak in. They have a shot to sneak in. One of the things that I look at a lot with NFL teams is their point differential, because that kind of gives you an idea of how their season goes to an extent, especially this far into the season. Jacksonville is -8. The Colts are the top team in point
In the
differential with plus 109. So,
Insane.
like, think about that. It's like, oh, it's a bad league, or it's a
Very
bad division.
tall.
However,
Very short.
just so that you know the AFC South encompasses all. The Tennessee Titans are the worst with a -127.
All right, let's move on to Jackson.
Super short.
Super short. Okay. So let's move on to Joey's disappointment. Joey, and I just want to say right now, when we say Washington, we're not referring to the government shutdown right now.
No. We're not touching that. We're not touching that. We're not touching that. We're not touching the, any politics.
Go ahead, Joey.
We're not touching
Go ahead, buddy.
we're not touching the alert that I just got that involves their new stadium and naming rights and all that nonsense. We're not going to talk about that. What I'm talking about is the injuries they've had.
Yeah.
You had a player in Jaden Daniels coming off Rookie of the Year, gets hurt immediately.
Twice.
Then you have, twice. One very awful, I should say. He's lucky that it wasn't worse. They traded away Brian Robinson Jr., which in the grand scheme of things probably helped, because you have Krosky Merritt as a secondary back. Then you had Terry McLaurin holding out for a contract, and he's been injured since he got the new contract.
Now he's holding his hamstring.
Yeah, so, a team that was, one game away from the Super Bowl, and now are you having, typically the Super Bowl hangover for a losing team means you made the Super Bowl, not you made it just there. So it's disappointing, not so much the, on the field, it's more injury bug and all that would make them my biggest disappointment. I have other disappointments that I listed, but that's for later.
We're gonna talk about that later. Well, me and you will close that one out.
Yes.
But yeah, no, for the commies, it's just the injury bug, man. I don't have a lot to say about it. The only thing I will say is there is no reason that Jaden Daniels should have been on that field down 38-7. And yeah, that's on code. What are you trying to accomplish there? Come on, bro.
I'll be honest. I was personally disappointed because I needed 1 point from him, and if he'd have got that 1 point, I would have won the game that week. But because he got hurt, I lost by less than a point. So,
well, that sucks. But I would say
if only he could have waited a little bit longer to dislocate his elbow, it would have been great.
Yeah, I'll make sure to let him know that he needs to be more considerate on your timeline. Okay.
Yeah, Jaden. Jesus.
But yeah, Shane. That's all I really have on the Commanders. What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, same. I mean, I thought going into the season they were in trouble just because I felt like a lot of the pieces were old there, like the aging, the holdout. So I didn't have high hopes for them this year. I obviously always root for Jaden Daniels. I thought he was going to have to carry the team, but it just is. I agree with you. He shouldn't have been in the game. So that's about it for me on them.
So I think we're good on our midseason surprises, disappointments here. We're gonna go do our midseason awards, but I think we've covered some of these people in our little talkings, in our biggest surprises and disappointments. So what I want to do is we're gonna go around. We're gonna say our MVPs first, touch on each one of them. Like I'll just say mine, then I'll go to Shane, then I'll go to Joey, and then after that, we'll kind of do that for each award, and then just pick out players we want to spotlight. Works for y'all?
Yep.
Sure.
So for my MVP, I'm going with Matthew Stafford. Shane, who are you going with, buddy?
I'm going to go with the Colts, Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. All right, Joey, what about you, buddy?
It's such a weird thing to think Daniel Jones MVP. I'm going to go with Drake May.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to give a little spiel on mine. Matt Stafford, I think the proof's in the numbers. Man, he is playing out of his mind right now. Leading the league in touchdown passes. He has 21 touchdown passes to 2 interceptions. Look, it's just obvious. He's playing at an MVP level on a great team that I really think can make some noise. And it'd be his first MVP. And you always love to see it for a guy this far along in his career. Shane, anything you want to add about Daniel Jones, your pick?
No, I think we talked about Daniel Jones. I'll add something about Stafford, though. I don't think he gets enough credit for being the quarterback he's been in his career. Besides him being tough, he has thrown the 2 best receiving years to a receiver. He's thrown it to Calvin Johnson, he's thrown it to Cooper Kupp. He was on pace to throw it to Puka Nacua until Puka got beat up. So I don't think he gets enough credit. I think we talked about Daniel Jones and the Colts. If I was picking for the MVP for the end of the year, I don't think it would be Daniel Jones. Not saying anything against him. I think you're going to see some teams maybe catch fire, maybe do more at the end of the year. But right now, he's my pick.
Can't argue against that. Joey, you want to add anything about Drake May, your pick?
Yeah, he is a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's leading the league in completion percentage, has 4th place in passing yards, and he's doing this with a wide receiver who last year, who by the way is 32 years old, tore his ACL. So, you said it a lot, Tyler, in fantasy that you see something in Drake May, you think he's going to be really good. Well, he's showing it. He is solidifying himself as, he'll be in the discussion this year, I think, for MVP. He may not win it, but it'll be hey, remember me next year. Remember me in the future. I'm going to win it at some point.
No, I completely agree with you.
And I will say it is totally unfair that the New England Patriots had Tom Brady for all those years and then suck for like 2 or 3 years and then get into Drake May. It's some BS.
Hey, it's the luck of the draw when you draft that high, but he's been phenomenal this year. I mean, his worst game was probably his last game, and he was still pretty freaking good in it. So, Drake May is definitely taking that second year leap, and we'll have to do an episode pretty soon, recapping the 2024 quarterback draft, and really look into where they stand historically. I think at the end of this year, I think that's a good idea where we need to kind of dive into because it's a great class. But let's move on to offensive rookie of the year. I mean, offensive player of the year. I'm going Jonathan Taylor. I've talked ad nauseum about it. Shane, who's your offensive player of the year?
I'm with you right there. He's on pace to break some records. I think if I was given a runner-up right now, it'd be JSN, just what he's doing with the Seahawks. But I think Jonathan Taylor is a clear cut here for me.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's on pace to I'm not sure on the yardage. I know it's pretty high up there. Joe, if you have that, if you can pull that number for me real quick, what he's on pace for. I know he's on pace, or he has a chance to break the touchdown record that LaDainian Tomlinson set. And I feel like if he breaks that, he'll be in discussion for MVP, in my opinion. So especially if the Colts are like on the 1 seed and maybe Daniel Jones takes a step back a little bit, I can see JT getting that discussion as well. What you got, Joey?
This is from 2 weeks ago on Reddit. Jonathan Taylor is on pace for 2,244 total yards, equal to 17th all time, and 30 touchdowns, second all time.
So he's at an incredible pace right now. So I don't think it's wrong. But I agree with you with the JSN take as well. Joey, I believe that he was your pick, wasn't he, for offensive player of the year? He was, just to kind of put somebody different. I do think Jonathan Taylor is, that number one. JSN I wanted to give him a shout just because, I mean, he's doing things that MVPs or offensive player of the years do. It is
as
incredible. The gap between him and the next closest guy receiving yards wise. It's like he's been phenomenal this year. He is the number one wide receiver in NFL at this point. So I have no problem if he won the award over Jonathan Taylor. I just think Taylor's got is going to have better numbers at the end of the year. But I'm looking at the defensive player of the year. At least to me, you feel bad for the guy for the situation he's in, but it's got to be Myles Garrett. I mean, he's gonna be probably top 3 sack wise again this year, if not putting up 15 plus sacks. It's honestly incredible what he's doing on such a bad team, and they took him out of that Patriots game. He could have probably broken that sack record. But I digress. Shane, who's your defensive player of the year?
His helmet knows that they took him out of the game for sure.
Yes.
Garrett is to me, I'm with you, clear cut. I do think what Brian Burns is doing with 11.5 sacks for the Giants. I know that the Giants and the Browns get a lot more chances on defense because their offenses aren't as humming. But then also Nick Bonito just looks next level this year. I think he's gonna down the stretch could be in the run as well. But to me, Garrett's the hands down guy right now.
Man, he was the most entertaining part of that Thursday night game.
It's true.
was watching Bonito. Joey.
I put Micah Parsons because the hype train told me to at the beginning of the year. Honestly, I couldn't pick anybody.
I gotcha.
I was just like, let me just put a name. Myles Garrett is the one that's going to win it. With as bad as that team is, he is the highlight of that team. It's no, like you said, Burns and Benito, yes, but it's Myles Garrett to lose.
I will say, a defensive player of the year and a new $40 million a year contract is not a bad year at the office.
Yeah,
just saying. So
that's one of those offices where it's like, hey, we light buildings on fire all the time when we're not supposed to, but guess what? I get paid $40 million to do it, so whatever.
Yeah, right. Let's move on to the youngsters. We're gonna go to the offensive rookie of the year. Sticking with it's a very Colts heavy episode, but I'm gonna stick with the Colts here and go Tyler Warren. It was a very close between me and somebody else that's on y'all's list and on other people's list. So I'm not gonna say who else it was close with, but yeah, mine's Tyler Warren. Shane, actually, I'll go Joey. Joey, I know I saw the list. You're with me, Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren's just that team is. If that team makes a deep run in the playoffs, he's getting it because typically I know the awards probably get turned in after week 18, but when it's one of those things. When it's your year, it's your year.
I hear you. Shane, you had the other person I was going to mention. Who's your rookie of the year?
Shedeur Sanders. No.
Rookie of the year, not bench warmer of the year.
Yeah, I can't help myself. Emeka Egbuka is mine. Yeah. He's looked a little slow. He's a little dinged up the last couple weeks, but he still has. I mean, he started out the season so hot. It was between him and Warren for me. Between Drake May, who Joey mentioned, Warren, who you mentioned, and Egbuka, who I mentioned, they have literally carried me in my main fantasy league with my guys from high school because my first picks were Neighbors, Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, and Kittle. So,
ouch.
Yes, and I am just at the time of recording, I am 6-3.
Jeez, dude, very nice, very very nice.
Yeah,
heck yeah, man. So I know I didn't put this on the show, Doc, but I'm gonna put you on the spot just to wrap this episode in a nice little bun. Give me your Super Bowl matchup. I know I'm putting you all on the spot here, but I'll go first. I'm gonna go Chiefs in the AFC. I know the record. I know they just lost to Buffalo. Come on, they know how to do it, and I'm gonna say the Chiefs. I'm gonna throw the Rams as the NFC host. It's not. I'm trying not to live in the moment recency bias. Just looking at a whole, they're giving me a lot of vibes of the Eagles last year of just that roster. Look, it used to be okay. Well, Kyron's the running back, but they don't have anybody behind him. Blake Corum's look good this year. Oh well, you only got Puka. The Cooper Kupp's looking old. He's not doing well. Devontae Adams is looking fantastic this year. They're doing this out of 13 personnel with one wide receiver, 3 tight ends, and they're able to hit multiple weapons out of it. Just schematically, talent-wise, and I'm not even talking about the defense. It's just The front seven, my lord, is stacked. So those are my two picks, and I'm picking the Rams to win the Super Bowl this year. Shane.
I love the take. I think it's a bold take. I love it. I'm going to go with what America wants, what my heart wants. I'm going to go Bills Lions, which is what I was hoping for last year. A game that I could just root for the high score, just whoever wins. But I'm just going to go with that because I don't want to think about another Chiefs Eagles or. Really, I just want to see two different teams make it. So that's what I'm going to go with and just try to wish it into existence.
Let me just throw something out there, right? Between our two NFC picks, Shane, how epic would a NFC championship game in Detroit with Matt Stafford and the Rams?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be wicked.
where Stafford would be the one that nails the death blow.
It has to, but it has to be in Detroit.
Or Aiden Hutchinson kills Stafford.
Well, he doesn't have to kill him.
Or he kills Stafford.
Yeah, he does.
Or
for all of Detroit. For Detroit.
Exercise.
For Frodo, baby.
No, to exercise all the demons. It's going to be a sack fumble, and he's going to pick it up and return it to end the game to send him to Super Bowl.
They're going to do that.
Clip this shit.
They're going to do that clip from, what was it, Peyton's Places, where him and Jeff Daniels are on the field, and they got a tub full of whiskey.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson's going to look like Bane, and Matt Stafford's going to look like old Batman. He's going to break. Oh, I wonder what would break first, your spirit or your body. He just breaks his back. It's going to be great. Joey, who you got?
On that note, Joey,
wrap it up, Joey.
Jesus. I'm going to go I'm going to do the NFC side first.
Manchester United.
No, Chelsea
FC. No. Inter Miami. No. I'm going to go. I'm not going to go with my heart as much as I want Detroit to make it.
Joey, the Saints can't make it.
It's not that level of heart. I'm going to say Green Bay and the Indianapolis Colts to make the Super Bowl.
Most Midwest Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life.
And I think Green Bay is going to win it.
Sleeping at halftime.
That's all cheese curds you're going to be eating. That's why he was sleeping. No, I think it'd be a good game. It's a bold take.
It's not. Oh, it's LA. Oh, it's it's not the big markets. It's the medium to small market. It's a football market.
I respect it, and I could see a world where it happens. And it's just me. My only concern would be the Packers.
Well, again, if you listen to what hype is telling you, Brett Favre was 27 when he won the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers was 27 when he won the Super Bowl. Jordan Love is 27. He's a Green Bay Packers quarterback. Ooh.
But Joey,
in all honesty,
Joey, how's it work though? If the Panthers are going to make the Super Bowl, how are the Packers also going to make Super Bowl?
Because
what magic is going to work better?
That's why I cast out that bet. If I wanted to try to differentiate, because I do.
No, I get you.
I want Detroit to make it. I want to see them win it. But if I had to pick somebody different, you
didn't say the Saints and the Raiders, so it I could see it happening.
Yeah, because I also don't lick windows on a daily basis.
That's true too. But let's talk. We talked about Super Bowl and everything, but let's really talk about the most important game of this NFL season. Okay. Let me just look up exactly when it's happening.
Oh.
Okay.
I think I know what it is. Can I guess
this game needs to be flexed into prime time.
Can I guess it?
We need this to happen. Yes, Joe, you can guess it.
It's got to be. It's the one on December 21st.
Yes, it is.
Between your New York Jets and the New Orleans Saints.
Yes, to determine the number one pick in the draft.
I will be chanting Jets, Jets, baby. Throughout that entire freaking game.
Suck Bowl. Yeah, yes. That's the main game I'm looking for.
Here's my question, okay? Yes, number one pick.
Wrap it up. Yes.
Who are we getting?
I mean, as of now, look, if you're going to pick number one overall, you're probably taking a quarterback, and it'd probably be Mendoza, if I had to guess at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some other pass rushers. A kid from Ohio State. There's a kid from Bain from Miami. But we'll get into all that draft stuff. But I just want to throw that out there.
The Saints will take a guard. Saints will take a guard / center from Michigan or some shit.
Shout out Cesar Ruiz. But on that note and that level of positivity, it's great to be back. I am your host, Tyler.
Don't
Here
go to
with my
keepmynetwork.com.
Don't go there. And for my co-host Joey and Shane, we'll be back next week with another edition of the Noble Study Sports Talk. So I'll take it easy. Later.